Today I'm here at beautiful Mission Trails Regional Park, and I'm taking a hike with my family who are just off camera. And I thought you might like to see this particular area that we're hiking through because it's an area that my characters, Eliza and Daniel, also would have traveled through. And it's one of the few places along the San Diego River that time has not touched much. So I'm going to be showing you some videos as I'm hiking along, and I hope you enjoy. Obviously, at the time when Eliza and Daniel would have been coming through here, there would not have been nice, clear walkways like this with stairs. It would have been bumpy trails and rocks and thick chaparral. Although there was plenty of life along the river, and so there would have been trails. They just wouldn't have been as nicely maintained as they are today. And so just want to give you a quick little peek at what the terrain is like in this area and what they would have been facing. This is the area in the story that they would have been passing through just about the time between their first night camping and when they did some fishing. And I won't give you any more details than that because I don't want to give spoilers. But yeah, that's, if you're wondering which part of the story they would be seeing this, that is what you're seeing. Isn't it beautiful? And you can see how the river just snakes right between these hills and out toward the other side, and close to the base of that hill over there is where the dam is, and I will get to show you that later.
Some of your makeup is coming off.
As I'm walking, I can smell the sage. And I believe this is buckwheat. Can you see that? I'll have to double check if I'm right about the name, but I do know that they used to gather this. I don't think this is the right time of year to do it, but they used to gather it, and they could grind the seeds from here into a sort of a flour. The native peoples here could. There, got it in focus. Okay, and we're gonna keep walking. I hope you're enjoying this peek at what it's like here at Mission Trails Regional Park. Oops, we caught a runner. As you can see, it's still a very popular place to visit. I'm so grateful that our government has made a point to preserve this area so that I can have something of a feel of what it was like for my characters to travel through here. I mean, look how thick it is here. Of course, back in the time when Eliza and Daniel would have been walking through here, we wouldn't have heard the airplanes and helicopters overhead or the cars passing on the road that's just up there out of sight, which allows visitors to the park to move from one end to the other quickly. It's the only road within the park where the vehicles are allowed. The rest of the park has been preserved. It is open for hiking and biking on most trails. I think there are some horse trails, but they're not here. This is not one of the trails I believe that horses are allowed on. I know that there is some on the more northern end of the park. There is a horse trailer type area over by the lake, which is past the dam. And so it would make sense to me that the horses would be allowed over there. Otherwise, why have it? But unfortunately, I am not a horse owner, so that is not a portion of the park I am extensively familiar with. I mean, I've hiked over there, but I don't know all their rules for horses. A lot of people think of Southern California as very desert-like, and certainly it isn't as lush and green as other parts of the country, other parts of the state, but we are hardly a true desert here in most of San Diego. I'm not going to follow this path because it's not an official trail, but I'm hoping you can see that just down there is the actual river. We're getting close now, and pretty soon we'll be able to walk right up to it. But anyway, as I was saying, even though it is a sort of a desert environment, the chaparral biome is very lush and green in the winter and spring. And it's quite beautiful. I've really fallen in love with it. There, hopefully you can see clearly now some of the river. And we'll get even closer than this in a little while. But I want to show you. If you look from about there all the way to about here is the full width of the river base. And so when we get enough rain, all of this can be filled with water. Most of the year, however, the river stays within that narrow strip. Keeping in mind this is January and we've had a really good rain recently, so even this section is running more swiftly than it maybe does, say, in the summer. In the summer it slows down quite a bit and narrows and gets more shallow, but it never quite disappears. Here you can see one of the local oak trees. They're quite sprawling when they're old, and they make for fabulous climbing trees. And the only reason you don't see a few of my children in this one is that I have told them I'm taking a video and they cannot climb it until I am done. So I guess I'd better make this short, huh? Boys must climb. Right here you can see that there is a grinding rock where the rain has filled in the hole. And over there you can see the river, and that was my 11-year-old jumping through the video. But I wanted you to be able to see that and that's my 3-year-old sticking her stick in the video. Anyway, I wanted you to be able to see that the Kumeyaay lived in this area, and the grinding rock reminded me of the acorn scene later in the novel, and I hope that you enjoy it. My 9-year-old insisted that I need to show you the seeds and pollen spinning in this little eddy in the rocks of the river. Hi everyone, it is just about, well, it's getting to sunset anyway, soon, and I have finally made it here to the Old Mission Dam. This dam would have been in existence at the time that Eliza and Daniel went through. However, it would have been in much more disrepair. Much of what you see here is original. but it has been repaired and maintained throughout the years. It's been in much worse condition than this at different times during its history. It was originally built in 1803 for the mission. The mission was suffering a water shortage, and they needed water not only for, you know, drinking and bathing and everything, but also for their plants and their orchards and things that they needed to grow. And so they had a 5-mile long aqueduct built from the mission up to this point in the river in order to facilitate getting water there, because at different times of the year the river gets very, very narrow and very dry in places, and so they just weren't able to get enough water unless they built this. And as a result of this dam, there is a lake now on the opposite side, which is mentioned in the story. And yeah, I just thought you would enjoy getting to see what this looks like today. And I'll just stop talking and let you take a peek real quick. I'm gonna flip the camera around. As you can see, even though I am standing right in the middle of the San Diego River, there is plenty of ground here for me to stand on. I am not standing in water. And that is because this river ebbs and flows depending on the time of year, depending on the amount of rain we've had. I have been here when there was water from that edge all the way across here and then all the way back, covering all of this in just roaring floods of water after a major storm. However, our most recent storm was a more average size, and it was, about a week ago now, I think. So as you can see, it's got a pretty typical water flow for this time of year. If you're seeing the oranges in the water there, unfortunately, it looks like somebody left their oranges from a picnic they had here, which is sad. But there is a picture of this dam actually online, and you can see this section of it from 1937, and it looks almost identical. Very, very much the same. And so, yeah, it's kind of amazing to be standing here and thinking about how long this has been here, and that this would have been here at the time that they went through. So that's it. That's the end of our brief trip to Mission Trails Regional Park. I hope you enjoyed getting to come along with us. I hope you liked seeing a little bit of the area where Daniel and Eliza would have traveled through in 1854, as well as learning a little bit of the history from this area. If you'd like to join me for some more fun, please make sure you've signed up to be one of my Kathleen's Readers Club members. I offer exclusive content, exclusive giveaways, and all the latest news through my newsletter, Kathleen's Readers Club. You can sign up for that at www.kathleendenley.com. I would also love to have you join my Facebook readers group called the Armchair Adventure Crew, crew spelt with a K. Love to see you there. We do games, we talk books, we share memes, I share history tidbits, sometimes we do read-alongs, and of course, sometimes we do giveaways. So be sure to check us out. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful day.